Hey families, before I explain what is binder clip together and kind of what's happening today, I just want to mention quick that I had a meeting with the school staff and we're working on some plans that I'm pretty close to putting into place. One of the big things is I need to make sure I'm accessing students have a chance to talk to me like live or in person and what that looks like. And I'm going to continue to put out videos because another thing that's needed is a place for students to go for as a resource, which is essentially what these videos are. I hope to have answers about that stuff soon. Keep in mind that, it's a little trickier for first grade because just the nature of first grade, the kids need a bit more interaction. So I want to make sure it's kid friendly and I don't want to bombard families with another login. So I might have to scrap my Flipgrid idea, but I just want to give you a heads up. So hopefully the next thing you see will be me sharing what's in the packets, and then I'll be explaining today's work. It's going to be a long video, so hang in there. Take care. Good morning, first graders. This is Mr. Stevenson coming at you from his living room. Today is April 6th, 2020. I want to start off today by saying I'm going to be discussing the work that you guys got on this past Friday, and I'm going to share with you kind of how I organized it before I get into what we'll be working on today. So everyone should have gotten something that was binder clipped. Okay, and it even says on top that I planned on exploring what was inside in this video. So kind of these first two pages. And now I think I stapled yours. Mine is like the originals. So it will say every day what you can work on. Now, if I'm being honest, I don't have an answer about spring break. I did include things for spring break. I don't know if that was right or wrong, but I wanted to be thorough. I also have an ending on June 12th. That was just a Friday that I had a gut feeling that would be the end. That is definitely not official. I have no idea if that's accurate, but I was just trying to go with my gut. So every day there'll be items to work on, and Monday through Friday kind of looks very similar. I wanted to make it very predictable and very easy for families to figure out because I know how unorganized first graders can be, and I wanted to make it a bit predictable. I wanted to make it as routine as possible for the kids, so hopefully that works out. Okay, and then there was something that was going this way. These are going to be every day. It will be the first item. For instance, for today, the 6th, it says AROR handwriting. This is AROR handwriting. Then on the 7th, it says sentence with a picture, using those words. The next paper, you'll use this next paper, sentence with words. All of these papers should be in order. I'll be honest, I didn't put them all in order, so I make mistakes. I'll be the first one to say that, so hopefully it looks okay for you guys. And if not, I hope you guys can help me out by being flexible and working together to figure it out. If you have questions about this, let me know. Okay, and kind of the rest of the papers have to do with handwriting. Okay, so, I'm sorry, have to just do with writing. So, every day, the third item has something to do with writing. So the first one you'll see, and I only made one copy of this, but kids are used to reusing them, is the editing checklist. Now, you'll see that on every Wednesday it says to edit your writing. And we've been working all year with this very same paper. Kids actually use the same editing checklist in kindergarten, so they're very familiar with it. And on Wednesdays, they'll be going through and editing different things, and we've been practicing that. Now, it's been several weeks since we've done it now. at this point, so they may need some help, and I'm going to hopefully model some things. Okay, then the next paper it's a copy of a copy, so it got a little gray. But what this is a graphic organizer for fiction writing, for narrative writing, for kids telling us stories. And I'm going to be modeling how to fill this out at the end of today's video. I included a bunch of them, so hopefully every Monday kids can work on a new fiction story. Then behind all these gray papers are writing papers where kids can create a picture and then write their story. And I don't know, I put in a bunch of these papers, so hopefully everyone has enough, but if we run out, we run out, and we'll adapt. These first graders are super resilient and are really great at figuring things out. I'm going to pause the video here and get us organized for what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so first up on our to-do list today is AR/OR handwriting. And what that is going to look like, it will be this paper here. But before kids, I have you guys pause the video, let me show you what is some skills you'll need to be successful. Now, these sounds have been introduced. Words this week will have more than one syllable in them, so it's a big extension of what we learned. But everything should be able to be decoded by a first grader, so that's exciting for me. So words this week will either have AR, car, R, like a pirate would say, or OR, horn, or, excuse me. Okay. So for words this week, I see an AR in this first one. P-op-art. Blend it together. Pop-tart. Okay, this next one, ooh, that one has a word that has a long O because I see a magic E. O-work. Homework. Okay, next up. B-ack. And we know CK makes one sound at the end of a syllable. B-ack. Yard. Backyard. Have you guys been playing in your backyard? Okay, next up right here. North. West. Northwest. Okay. Harvest. Harvest. Corn cob. Corn cob. And our last one. Yardstick. Now, before you go writing those, you may want to consider reading those words to someone at home because they're new and they might be a bit tricky for you. Just to get familiar with them. It's never been my expectation that you guys have these words down on a Monday. That's never been the expectation. It takes time. The reason we do a lot of activities is some of these things take practice, and I'm trusting you guys to put in some time to practice. So I'm going to pause the video here. You probably want to pause the video as well. I'm going to write out my AR/OR handwriting. You guys can do the same, and when you want to check in, you can hit play on the video again. See you in a bit. Okay guys, welcome back. Hopefully your handwriting went pretty smoothly, and if you haven't finished yet, pause the video before I show you mine. Okay, this is what mine looks like. You know, if I'm asking you guys to do it, I better be willing to do it myself. So if you're happy with your work, you can ask someone to give you a Mr. Stevenson bad hair day, and then you can put that off to the side. Okay, so next up on our list of things to do today, it says math pages 206 and 207. Okay, so now you have your math book. So it should be a little bit easier to do in color. I am actually going to pause the video here, and I will, the next thing you should be able to see is the math pages on my computer screen, and hopefully that works pretty well for you. I'm going to be honest though, this type of math is tricky for first graders, especially because it's very word heavy. It's not, they can do the math, but making sure it looks like what's expected is a little bit tricky because it is very word heavy. Word problems in general for first graders are and can be tricky. So just keep that in mind. And for kids to be successful on this type of math, they really need to be reading at a fairly high level. So don't be concerned if there's struggles with this math. I know kids can do the task while they may not be able to make it look like what's expected. So hang on a sec. Okay guys, hopefully your math page looks something like what you see up on the screen right now. This is my computer screen coming at you, and so that means I'm using my computer trackpad to write, so it may not be the neatest, but hopefully it works out. So typically how our math pages work is there's always 2 pages, and the even number always has something to like have the kids like get thinking about to dive them in. So there's always like a nice warm-up problem. So it says Mono has 7 cards, so those must be the 7 pinks, and Leela has 6 cards, those must be the 6 blues. How many cards do they have in total? So having the kids recognize that in total or in all or all together, that comes with time. They all mean the same thing, but it takes a lot of repetitions for kids to recognize, oh yeah, all of these things mean the same. All right, so how does a balanced picture match the word problem? So you have 7 on here, 6 here, and it's asking for some in total. And we know that the pan balance is flat, so they must be equal. So what do the pink and blue blocks show? The different people's cards, and draw more blocks to show the total. So in order for us to draw a total, we'd have to come on over to the other side. And I'm going to try to draw 7 plus 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all getting a little bit larger. 6, 7. Okay, and then we do 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then when I go to count, I'm going to be, I know I did 7 on bottom, so I can just count on 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So write an equation. We started with 7, we added 6 more, and that equals 13. Now, if you're at home and around the house with your kid, you could be giving them different types of situations where so that they can build their math vocabulary. So you could say things like in total, in all together, and that'll help them grasp the concept that they're all the same, even though they're different words. They're asking the same type of situation. Okay, so down here in this orange box, it says, read the story, draw more blocks in the balance picture to match, then write an equation to show your thinking. Okay, there are 8 girls and 3 boys. How many children in all? So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 greens. So they must have done the girls in green. And I see 1, 2, 3 boys. They must have done the boys in red. I'm going to do a different color just to help things out. So that means it's asking how many in all. So they have 8 and then 3. So if I do them all the same color over here, let's see what happens. And I'll try to do it quickly. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I need 3 more, so 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so when we go to write an equation that matches, it'd be 8 plus 3 equals 11. There it goes. Okay. All right. Hopefully yours looks something like mine. If you need to pause the video at any moment so you can get caught up, feel free. That you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm here at home. All right. So next up, oh boy, they're dogs. Oh, we love our dogs in first grade. There are 12 dogs in the pet store. 6 have short hair. The others have long hair. How many dogs have long hair? So we know that there's 12 dogs altogether. One part has short hair, the other part has long hair. So if we're starting with 12, or our big number, we need to subtract. And then if we're taking away one part, okay, so we need to make it balance. So in order for us to solve this, we need to figure out how to make this pan balance balanced. So we know 12. So we need to put some more in to figure out what the missing part is. So I'm going to keep on. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So how many have long hair? So these are 12 dogs in the store. These are 6 with short hair, and our missing part was how many have long hair. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's, yeah. So we could put 6 have long hair. Okay, good. All right, guys. I'm going to do this next one with you, and then I might pause the video and have you check your answers. Okay, so up here it says, read the story, write the numbers in the balance picture to match, then write an equation to show your thinking. There are 15 students in a class. There are 8 boys. So if the whole class has 15 kids, can we picture that? And then we know one part is boys and the other part is girls. So we have a missing number. So if we have the whole total, if we know the big number, that means we're going to be subtracting. And then we're going to be, and we know one part we're taking away is 8. So you could use something to, oh boy, to solve. Now I have a lot of counters and things. If I could just put out 15 and then take 8 away, or some kids may know this right off their head, boom, because we play a lot of Kaboom, and kids have practice their math facts. So 15 minus 8, yeah. Those of you saying 7, that's right. Okay. I'm going to read these next directions for the rest of the page. And then I'll ask you guys to pause the video, and then I'll be able to put up the answers to the rest of the problems. Okay, there are 12 chocolates in a box. You knew there had to be a food problem. Every day in math, there's always a food problem. It gets me hungry. There are 12 chocolates in a box. Now there are 9 left. Clearly, this box of chocolates wasn't anywhere near me because there'd be a lot less than 9 left. I would eat more. How many were eaten? So it sounds like we know that the box is starting with 12, and we know one part will be 9, so you guys will have to figure out what that missing part is. Okay. And then C, down here in purple, there are 8 fish you can see. There are 9 fish hiding. How many fish are in the tank? Oh, so do we have a big number here? No way, we have 2 parts. So you'll have to figure out how many fish are in the tank, which you'll put in this larger box. Okay, then it says read the story and then just write an equation. So you just need to write the equation part. 12 eggs were used for breakfast on the weekend. More eggs were used on Saturday than Sunday. How many eggs could have been used each day? Ooh, so this one has lots of answers, so it's okay to be creative with this one. There are 12 total. More were used on Saturday than on Sunday. Okay, and for B, 18 students went on a school trip. There were fewer boys than girls. How many number of boys and girls could there have been? Again, this one has different options. You know, there'll be 18 students, and there'll have to be fewer boys. So what I'll do is, I'm going to have you pause the video here. You might need someone at home to read these with you again, and maybe talk you through them. If I were a first grader, I'd use some item as some sort of counter or manipulative so that I can move pieces to help my thinking. So I'll have you pause the video here, and when you're ready to check out the answers, you should hit play. So pause now. Okay, here are the answers. Now they did them all in addition. I don't know. Kids visualize things different ways. But you could have done them many different ways. Now remember, these ones may have different answers, and that's okay. And you may have done subtraction equations up here. That's totally fine. I'm going to pause the video here myself, and hopefully in a second you'll see my face and I can talk about a read aloud and about writing. So hang on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of talk out loud for a little bit and kind of share what my planning process is kind of in my head. So a lot of what I'm going to be saying are thoughts that are going to pop into my head. If you're doing this at home, you might have some ideas in your head that you may just want to talk them through, think about them in your head. You don't have to talk them out like I am. And we'll work on this together. So I don't know if you know this about me, but I have a fear of giants, and it's called phi-phi-phobia. I'm just kidding. I'm going to write a story, though, about a giant, and I'm going to call him Johnny the Giant. And there's going to be another character named Philip, and Philip is going to do something to upset the giant and need to escape. So I want to make very clear from the beginning, what you are writing is a story. You're not writing about people you know. You're making up a story. I am making up a story, and I want you guys to make up a story. I don't want to hear the story of your mom finding your dog in the basement. I want you to make up a story. I want you to spend time, get creative, be silly. I know you guys are silly and creative, so this should go well. So right now I have 2 characters, Johnny the Giant and Philip. And my story is going to take place in a forest. And I'm going to say it's a cloudy day. Okay. And I'll show you what mine looks like when I'm done kind of with this talking to the camera. So next step is kind of a problem. Well, the problem in the story is Johnny the Giant is hungry. He wants to eat Philip. Yikes. So then, kind of, once we have identified a problem, is when we get to creative. We get to go on an adventure with our story. And I'm going to say something along the lines of, this is just what I'm thinking in my head, so you could be doing this while thinking in your head with your own story. Philip swam across a pond, so Johnny drank up the pond. Could you picture that? Philip is kind of swimming across the pond, so Johnny decided to drink up the whole pond and try to get him. That'd be a big straw. But Philip made it to shore. Yikes. Would that be quite the story? So we got this giant that's hungry. He wants to eat Philip. So Philip goes swimming in the pond, and Johnny the giant starts drinking the entire pond. So next, you could say Philip ran through the forest, because that's where we said our story took place. Ran through a forest. So guess what happened? So Johnny started eating all the trees so he could get to Philip. So Johnny the giant just come along, oh, I'm going to take this tree. And eating all the trees along the way to try to get to Philip. Yikes, could you picture this? Yeah, I can picture this. Uh-oh. At some point, we could go on a big adventure, and I may add on to this later this week. I don't want to give away the whole week's worth of writing just yet, but I'm going to add a solution to problem, or how they solve the problem. Remember, the problem was Johnny wants to eat Philip. Well, the solution is Johnny got a bellyache. Why would he get a bellyache? Yeah, because he drank up a whole lake and he ate up a whole forest of trees. I'd have a bellyache too. Johnny got a bellyache and took a nap. So Philip was able to escape. Okay. So let me go through my bottom load check boxes. Yep, I have names, I have a where, I have a when, I have a problem, I have a solution, and now I'm going to show an adult. Okay? So the adventure steps is kind of the part where you can go really awesome telling stories. I know that there are many storytellers in first grade. Trust me, I've heard you guys tell some stories. You guys exist. It's probably why we're often late to specials, because you guys like to tell stories. So here's what my planning paper looks like. And I'm thinking you guys probably want to come up with your own story now. Hopefully I've inspired you to want to plan out a story. So tomorrow we'll actually be writing a story, so I'll have to write out what my story looks like, and then I'll check in with you guys. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm sure there's plenty of questions. If I were you, I would use your binder clip and keep those papers organized, maybe how you found them, and maybe you want to cross off the things we did today. on this paper, which I call Daily Task Completion Sheet, and we'll go from there. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you guys later.